thumbnails. I'm excited to share with you all my tips and tricks on Canva that I use when I'm making thumbnails. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get to work. So we're gonna go to Canva. I already have a Canva document. I also have Canva Pro. It's not necessary, but I definitely recommend. And of course, I work in Canva every day. If you ever just wanna hire somebody to make your thumbnails, that's me. But I recommend having a design that has a whole bunch of pages of all your thumbnails. It's just easier that way. I usually go for the 4-picture layout, as you can see here, and I like to I'm good for duplicating. Now on the left, I've already uploaded screenshots of all the images that I want to use. I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but when I just airdrop the photos I want to use from my phone to my Mac, like it uploads in the file format .heic, and Canva doesn't like that. So instead, I just take screenshots of all the images that I might want to use on my thumbnail, because the screenshot will be a PNG or a JPEG, and then I upload those into Canva. I've been just taking some pretty cute like aesthetic pictures most recently, so we're just gonna play around with them. I'm gonna take like this picture and just drag it in, okay? You can double click and then resize. That's why I don't really care about cropping too much, because you can always resize in Canva. So let's do that there. I'm really not liking it as much as I thought. I think I want this to be like a dark aesthetic thumbnail, so let's go with that. And then the next one, I would want it to be me. Since we're going for the dark aesthetic, maybe we'll do that. Okay, so my face is cut off, so you just gotta play around with the spacing. I really like this because I just like how like my skin is and the makeup, but it's not really fitting the page. Let's try this. I don't really like that as much as I like this one, so we'll see what we can do. I'll add my boba. You can just click it. You don't have to drag it over. I just clicked it and it popped up. We delete that one. Let's drag that one over here. Boba is just always a cute little one too for me. Like, just a cute little product shot. Fills in and is aesthetic. You can make sure that's in the center how we want it. I actually want it to be about there, so we're gonna have to make this bigger. Ideally in the second one, I would want a picture of me. You know what I'm also thinking? We could do a 3-picture. We could do a 3-picture thumbnail. I have one, I think here. So we're gonna duplicate that and we can drag it down and then we can start again. Let's try something else. Actually, let's go back to the 4, sorry, because I just got an idea. We love Giorgio Armani. Some PR. It's just giving very grayscale, and I feel like maybe that's the vibe I was going for, but I'm like, damn, I really want to show a little bit of my pony, so let's just resize these things. So right now we have the base of a good thumbnail. I wish the background of this was a little bit lighter because it's just very gray. Let's change that to something a little more like, let's try this and see what it gives. And then if I don't like it, I can always change it to something else. Let's try these shoes. I took a picture of these shoes in the mall because I felt like they would look cute. That's why you take multiple pictures, because sometimes what you want to be your thumbnail just isn't giving. So let's try that. Bring this forward. And then just a little bit. Oops, that. Just a little bit. You're just gonna play around with the sizing a lot. And I like this because it's color brown, but I feel like something is still missing. So let's just duplicate it in case I'm tripping. Let's add maybe these shoes instead and see how we're feeling about that. Let's put that down and then just do that. How are we feeling about that? I feel okay about that. I think it's the right side that's kind of throwing me off. And that's really unfortunate because I really like my face. So I'm like, maybe I have to make it smaller. And now I'm liking where this is. I'm liking this as the base for my thumbnail. So now, if you're ever on the screen and you feel like you want an overlay of some sort to kind of add, like, because you're going to put white text. Let me show you what I'm saying. So let's copy this text right here. Okay. So you really, like, you can see it, but if you wanted it to pop out more, you would want like a background behind February reset. Let's go ahead and change this. It's not going to be a reset. It's going to be like a week in my life, or like, yeah, whenever I want to add an overlay of sorts to make the text stand out, I just click on the screen and I press R, and that brings up a square. It's supposed to be for a rectangle, but it brings up a square. And usually I'll go with the color that it has, or I'll find a color in the design. So I feel like this design is a pretty like brown neutral design, so I'll keep the brown they have, and I will resize this as my overlay so that it covers the entire thumbnail. Now it's above my pictures but below the text, and that's the perfect place to be. And now I'll just turn down the transparency, and you can see now how this week in the life is jumping out at you versus this is kind of like getting caught up in the white of like the pictures, but you can really see the text here. And then of course you can adjust the transparency to your liking. Like now you can really see not week in I life, week in my life. I knew something was off. Now if you wanted to step it up, let's go ahead and duplicate it again. You could go to effects, you could add shadow, you know, make it pop out like that. Let's duplicate that in what I really want to try out in this one. Like you could do splice. I don't really like that for this. You could do outline, but what I really want to try is this curve. So let's definitely take that outline off. I think I like shadow. That adds a little bit. I'll add a black shadow so that it gives it a little definition. And then on the curve, we're going to turn the curve down. And then we're gonna pull this up to the top. And then we're gonna make it a little smaller. Go to position, center. And then I'm liking this. Let's play around a little bit more with the curve. You can make it ever so slightly curved. So let's do 19. I like that. I do. And now it's giving week in my life. You can play around with the spacing. And so you see how we have different options, right? You can make sure this is centered. It is. So we have week in my life, pretty basic. What's the difference? We have this one with no overlay. I don't like this because life is kind of, it's just kind of melting in with the background. So I'm gonna delete that page. This page is a basic week in my life with a little bit of an overlay. That's fine. This one is a week in my life with, it has the shadow on the text. We could also play around and maybe put the week in my life up here because it seems like there's less interfering up there. And I like that. Or I like this week in my life with this size. We could play around with it, make it bigger. Let's try that. And let's center it again and see what that gives. Let's put it up. I like that. So now it could be that size. It could be bigger. It could be straight. Or now I'm like, ooh, let's try it all. We could do the reverse curve where it will curve up, and then we can move it to the bottom. And I am not mad at her. Let's go ahead and make sure she's centered, you know? Like, that's kind of a little vibe. So let's see. There's so many different things you could do. And then if I like to do this, so it's like sometimes you want to add some descriptors. So let's see. I think I did it with, or I can use this text. Yeah, let's go over the text. So this main text is DM serif display. And then for my descriptors, sometimes I like this Britney font. So that could be your thumbnail right there. Let's say you not really feeling it. So again, you could make it simplistic. You could have the week in my life in the middle, whatever floats your boat. I think my favorite is, I like the descriptors, me personally. If you don't want things to move, you just lock them, period. Okay, so let's put both of there. Make sure it's all aligned. And I like that. I like this week in my life. We have PR haul, we have boba, we have shopping, we have makeup appointment. And then I feel like I don't want it to be this big, but I don't want it to be this small. So let's say this is 74.5, this is 103. So let's do like 90 max. Let's see 85. I think this is my thumbnail. She is super cute. We have some aesthetic blush. We have, it just looks like a really nice thumbnail. And now it's like, bruh, now I need to use it, but I didn't really record, so I'm gonna have to repurpose this. Don't be surprised when you see this thumbnail on my channel for something, but yeah, I'm liking her, and I would definitely use this as a framework. If you're ever in a bind and you feel like you can't read the text, just click on your screen and press R, and it'll bring up a square or a rectangle, and you can resize it, and then you can turn down the transparency to add a little bit of a buffer between your pictures and text, and then play around with the position. You can do things, you can click on different elements and click on position, and then you can arrange them like this to see what's going to be above and what's going to be behind. Or you could arrange them as in like top, or you want this at the bottom, or you want this in the middle, or you want it to the left, you know? So definitely play around. We're gonna put that back at the top. I started off with a framework of like these 4 grids or these 3, but if you don't have that, just go to elements, and then let's see if I can find it organically. You can, I would recommend going to grid. So it's like if you go to the 3, it's gonna have like lines in between, or even if you go to 4, it'll also have lines in between. If you don't mind that, then that's that. But me personally, I don't like that. I like having them right next to each other. So just do this, and I just press Command D to duplicate, and then the spacing is kind of off, but you can play around with it, and you can, you know, size them up accordingly. And then yeah, you have now these grids where you can go to your uploads, and then you can click, and then you can drag, and you can, you know, size things accordingly. And then what else did I want to show y'all? Just definitely make a thumbnail document within Canva. These are all my like versions of my thumbnails. And then definitely play around with the fonts. I would definitely recommend Canva Pro, but you don't need it. And of course, you have designers like me who would love to make thumbnails for you. Yeah, if you have any questions, or if you're having any issues with Canva, or if you use a different platform, definitely drop it down below. But after this process, all I do is I download as a PNG, and then make sure you click the page you actually want. For me, oh, it's actually page 32 that I like. So I would download it, and then in the studio, I would upload it as my thumbnail. But that's literally it. Yeah, that's how I make my thumbnails. I don't really know how to close it, but thanks for watching. If you like this, or you want to learn how to do more things on Canva, or just whatever you want to see, like definitely drop any ideas down below. Let me know your feedback, and yeah, much love always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.